Hello and good morning. I am Courtney King, aka the Heart Mentor, aka the Emancipator, and this is the Reboot Your Biblical Perspective radio talk show where we identify the misguided modern day perspectives of the Bible, giving context to the spiritual dynamics of who and what you are via the lens of Rabbi Yeshua and his apostles in the name. On this radio show, we identify subjects and themes that have been misunderstood from the Bible in the name, verified by pragmatic and experimental research carried out under the Zane Kai Keturah International Institute of Pneumatology.
And hello and good morning, everybody. This is Tanya Whitkey from Virtual Kisses, and we would like to give a huge shout out to everyone joining us on Kingdom Purpose Radio, YouTube, and Facebook. If you would like to ask us any questions, feel free to comment on YouTube at Anointed Life or join our Facebook group, Anointed Life Mindset Mentors. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody this morning? If you are joining us, please write a comment below. Tell us where you're from so we can greet you. Morning, Courtney.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. So
good. How are you? You're doing great? Great.
I'm doing excellent this morning.
I'm doing great. Also, did you have anything exciting happen this week?
Let's see. Out here in Canada, we're starting to finally having our springtime blossom.
Ooh.
And I think for me, I'm just enjoying my walks outside this past week and just getting things ready for spring, like cleaning out the garage, enjoying time with family, and putting things. You're kind of like your spring cleaning thing and getting ready to do awesome things this kind of weekend and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing this weekend. How about you?
Cool. Well, I am out of school for the semester. Yay!
High five!
Not that I did not enjoy it. Okay. It was just a lot. Okay. It's just a lot. But I totally enjoy school, people. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's good to have that season over. Little break. So, and I'm finished with all my classes now. So all I have now is my thesis, my capstone. So yay.
High five to you.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. Yay. So today we have a guest. Yay.
A guest.
We do. We have the business master mentor of the International Institute of Pneumatology here. His name is Telvin Jeffries. He was actually here 2 weeks ago. And so we're going to bring him on. Let's see if he's ready. Brother Telvin? Are you there?
Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Brother Telvin. We hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you ladies today?
We're really good. We're really good.
Blessed
Awesome.
in the Lord.
And highly seasoned. And flavored.
And highly favored. Walking in great success. Awesome. So have you been since the last time we spoke to you?
I've been well. It's been very, very busy. I heard you talking about school, and I'm not in school. I don't ever want to do that again. I'm done with that. I'll just say uneducated. Right? Yeah. But I have been so busy, and I've had like guests from out of town, and it's been a really it's all been very, very good, but it's been a very intense couple weeks, and so I'm ready just for a little bit of just like calm for a little bit.
Yes.
And
I
I'm
hear
I'm
ya.
right there
I hear
with you.
ya.
I'm right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there. So the last time, for those of you who weren't here, uh, Brother Telvin did tell us that he's currently residing in Dallas, Texas. You're from Richmond, Virginia, right? The suburbs, which you noted, right?
I'm I'm actually I live in Dallas, Texas, but I'm from a suburb of Richmond, Virginia.
Right. That's what I thought.
Ah.
And you went to school. You went to a school for Baptist preachers, if I'm not mistaken.
I went to Virginia Union University. It is a school that's, it is heavily known as the school for Black Baptist pastors. In
Uh-huh.
fact,
Right, right, right.
I was at a lunch, a birthday luncheon a couple weeks ago, and this another lady was sitting beside me, and so she said, "Where'd you go to school?" She goes, "Oh my gosh, what are you, a pastor?" And I go, "Was it that bad? Is it that bad to be a pastor?"
Reputation,
Um,
huh?
right? I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And then I said, "No, no. In fact, I actually was a religion philosophy major, um, but I actually did not pursue being a pastor. I went there thinking that that might be a possibility, but
Right.
because my family told me that's what I was going to do."
Right, right, right. And then you've also have a background in business. You've been in corporate America for
Yeah, I've been in corporate America for over 25 years,
Mm.
and so I have far more corporate experience than I actually have pastoring. How about that?
aha. And then you
Love it.
became the I guess we're just kind of doing a quick summary of who
Yeah.
you are.
Review, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
Um, and so you also became the business master mentor of the International Institute of Pneumatology. So it's a mouthful. Um, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. So I just I met Zane, probably now Pierre, who is the master mentor and the founder of the institute. I met him probably 4 years ago. I was watching a Polly B. For you guys who know Polly B, I was watching a Polly B
Mm-hmm.
video, and he was actually on this video. Zane was on this video, and I was like, "This guy's fascinating." And so I called him and I said, "Hey, I will pay you to coach me. What I want to know." And so he spent actually 4 years with me, actually 3 years. I'm sorry. He spent 3 years with me,
Mm.
actually, like once or twice a week for 3 years, walking me through the Bible. And so, what I have done is I have tried to take really that same framework and formula and say, where does this match up in business? And maybe it adds even more clarity or more definition to the approach in business.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so and man, it just kind of fit like a glove. It's very clear to see that living in the name and following ancient Hebrew, and I'm going to say principles or framework,
Mm.
are really what makes business work
Mm,
Right.
successfully.
Right.
mm, mm, mm. I love it. Which is why we want to talk to you today.
That's right.
Yes. Awesome, awesome. So, we did not get to ask you all of our questions because we had a whole
No.
list of questions last time. So that's why we were like, please come back. So Tanya, did you want to
Yeah,
ask first or you want me to
I
go?
would I would love to kick off this question for you, Talvin. As a Elohim trained up in business and is now a mentor at the ZKI, what do you wish you had known when you started out?
I would
Da-da.
say, yeah, here's what I would say. I think um, I was in a place where I really had, I mean, I had these experiences and I had a reason. I mean, I guess I actually had these ideas in my head to go, well, this doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense. And then I was really afraid to actually challenge the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
And in and in not wanting to challenge it, I really didn't understand the framework in which to engage with it.
Mm.
So I wish I had have known that it was okay to have doubts and to actually go, this doesn't always make sense or seem to be true.
Mm.
That's
And
good.
I say this to people all the time. If you are not willing for all of this to be wrong, you will not really find the truth and it will not be anchored in you. Because if you're trying to engage this with your intellectual mind without understanding that this is a Near Eastern context and that you are applying to a Western view and you think you're supposed to get it and it's all supposed to make sense and you're supposed to have no questions, then you are actually not, most of the time, you're probably not being honest with yourself. And that honesty does not allow you to be consistently successful
Mm.
applying what you have learned or what you say you believe.
Right, right, right.
So your results are very wonky.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
It's like you're trying to take one set of laws or principles and make them apply into an atmosphere that they don't work in.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
you're
Yeah.
not going to get any results with that trying to cook dinner with a hammer. Like, so struggle is real. That's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
That's so
That's a
good.
good answer.
Yeah. I mean, and so that really is where for me, I say to everybody that I talk to and they ask me about my faith journey, I go,
Mhm.
I really had to go, I'm willing to find out that this isn't true.
Right, right, right,
That's-
right, right. That's so good.
That is a stumbling block for many people, right? Like we
Mhm.
don't want to question the Bible or our ways in doing things, right?
Right. Yeah. And for me, one day I just had this thought in my head. It's kind of crazy what I'm about to say, but I had this thought in my head. I was go, okay, like, did I actually have a relationship with God before I read the Bible? I actually did.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, so that really kind of, that for me was like one of those things that I was just like, all right, I got to figure this thing out. But I do have to be willing to just go, it could just all be what my mama told me, right?
Mhm.
And and what I spent my whole life, believing was true. And I found out that in that in that willing to suspend everything, that, man, it all became richer and to me, it's unquestionable.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's so good.
Donald Davis says, I receive the most value from the Bible written in my heart, not the letters on the page.
Yeah. Well, doesn't the scripture say that that um the law killeth and the spirit
Mm,
gives life,
that's right.
right?
Mhm.
And if you start to take what I call Western literalism to scripture, it will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you from your heart.
Absolutely keeps you from your heart.
Mhm.
And then if you're, and I always say, I like to be intellectually honest with myself. I can be
Mm,
dishonest with you, but I got to be intellectually honest with myself, right? No, I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, I go, it's one thing now. You might lie to everybody else, but you lying to yourself, you crazy,
Right, 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 right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, right. And in that, that 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 literalist view is actually creating this serious wedge between you and God.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And yeah, and so one of the things that happened one day, I was praying, and um I remember this because I had this routine where I would just get on my knees and I would pray. And one day I heard something inside of me say, "Why are you praying to me outside of yourself?"
Mm.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, the problem, one of the things is because I was reading the Bible and saying to myself, well, God in heaven. Well, because I actually hadn't engaged with it in my heart, I didn't realize that he wasn't ever talking to me from heaven. He was talking to me from the inside.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, that's just an example. I don't want to go on a tangent on that issue, but that's where it all kind of started connecting for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's so good. That was a good question, Tanya.
Well, thank you, Courtney.
So, my question, dearest brother Telvin, is how does one come out of the poverty mindset?
Mm.
You know, the very first thing that I would say is that you have to ask yourself um, the question again. A lot of these things are always about what do I believe,
Yeah.
right? Um, and then where did I get that belief from?
Mm.
What is the genesis of what I believe? And the very first question is you have to ask is what do you believe about money?
Mm.
Mm.
And I grew up in a situation where we were a middle class family, um but I was always, it was money doesn't grow on trees, money's hard to come by,
Mm-hmm.
um
You had
and
McDonald's money?
yeah, you got McDonald's money. Like literally, think about this. McDonald's was like the cheapest restaurant to go to, and you're like, do you got McDonald's money, right? And my dad would always say, you know, don't take no wooden nickels. People are always trying to get you. They tend to take your money. And so the very first thing that I think I had to change is my belief about money. And
Right.
here's right. What do I think about money? Well, first of all, I believe that money's energy.
Mm.
Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean that in a new age kind of way. What I mean is that um, money actually comes as a result of expending energy, and it also creates energy.
Mhm.
The world is full of energy. Everything is made of energy.
Right.
Number two. Number
Exactly.
three is Texas, for example. Texas has more land mass than most countries.
Hmm.
There are there is enough space in Texas. You guys can Google this. There's enough space in Texas for most of the world to live in.
Oh, wow.
And I started thinking about that. And I go, it's really either it's the earth is abundant.
Mhm.
Then I started thinking about who is what is the character of God? And I
That's a
started
good
thinking,
thought.
wait a minute. Okay, God actually made everything for man on earth before he made the man.
Hmm.
Everything in the earth has already been prepared for the man.
Hmm.
God said he thinks about men, each person, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than the grains and the sands on the earth.
Mhm.
There's a mathematical equation that means basically every 12 seconds.
Wow.
Okay. So really, there is not enough for me on the earth. That's wrong. So if I come from a mindset that the earth has deficit, that I have to always be fighting people for things, I have to do things that are not with integrity to get things. I've created a mindset that just says the earth does not have enough. Versus I go, no, the earth has enough. I just have to figure out how to get it in a way that is life giving to me and to others.
Yes.
That's so good.
But I have
Right.
right. And so if I go again, if I go back to the whole concept that money is energy, right? Then I have to be doing the things that actually bring money in. And I say this to people all the time. You use the example about McDonald's. There's
Mm-hmm.
something McDonald's used to have on all their signs. They used to have the number of people served.
Yeah, they
I
did.
don't know if you guys remember that.
I do. I remember it.
Okay. Well,
192.
here's the thing. There's a correlation to your bank account to the number of people you serve.
Mm.
The energy you're expending to help others on the earth. And yes, you should be receiving money for it, which is my fourth belief, is that I don't invest time in things that don't produce return. Because it is unbiblical, it is ungodly. God did not put anything on the earth and not expect for it to produce and multiply.
Right, right, right.
I mean, the sun exists for a reason. It actually gets a return on its
All right.
investment of energy expended. Water, right? I mean, everything does. And so, what does the Bible say? As long as the earth shall remain, there shall be seed time and harvest. There must be serving, putting in, doing the work, and then there's harvest. And a lot of times we do not spend our time, our energy with the expectation of return.
Right. So true.
And it does start with the
McDonald's,
mind, right?
yeah, and McDonald's serves a purpose. It is not McDonald's was there to help as mothers started to have less time.
Hmm.
And so McDonald's exists for a reason. It solved a problem.
Yes.
Cool.
They serve people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, and you can look at the businesses who are the most successful solved a problem on the earth. I think I said this in the last call. I am convinced that the idea for a cell phone came to a Christian, but they had the wrong mindset and they had the wrong understanding of God, and they decided not to go pursue it.
Mm.
There was a time where all the ideas and all the inventions came from godly people.
Hmm.
And think about your cell phone. You today could not actually survive without your cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a meeting yesterday where
Mhm.
they're talking about, we all know about telemedicine, right? Where you go online and you see the doctor, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I'm in a meeting yesterday and we're talking about how to get more access to healthcare to people who are of a low economic status around the US. And the
Mhm.
answer is digitized healthcare, they believe. And it's
Yes.
because almost everybody has a cell phone,
Right. So true.
That is
right?
true.
And
Obama
there's
got
so many
everybody a cell
people.
phone.
Yeah, and not everybody has transportation to go to the doctor.
Right. So true.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Well, think about that solution. Like, think about that as a product that really is beyond telemedicine, but it's about how you integrate all the doctors, all the services that can be, and they can be actually operated from your phone. Well, that person's going to be a billionaire.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, poverty mindset is a lack of belief.
That's
It
right.
really it's first, it's wrong thinking
Mhm.
about, it's about wrong thinking about, and I use this statement. It's a
Mhm.
wrong thinking about money, and it's a wrong thinking about God, which
Mm.
leads you to a wrong thinking about the world that you live in.
Right.
Yes. So true.
Which will keep you down, right? In poverty. If you
Yes,
keep that
yes.
mindset.
You have what you say you shall have.
You
Mm-hmm.
have what you should say you should have, and we really have to go back and say, what do you really believe about this God?
Mm.
What do you really believe about him? Do you really believe that that he sent all these people here without resources? Yes, they're very poor people in the earth, but they're very poor people in the earth because people are not actually taking time to figure out how to distribute wealth and resources.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And it's often the people who go by the name.
And a lot of it is because of our lack of understanding also.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
Yes.
wrong thinking it is equated to wrong understanding also.
Yes.
Which does not get the ball rolling.
Does not get the ball rolling.
Mhm.
Everybody has, I believe, and just because, I've spent now 8 years coaching business entrepreneurs and executives, and everybody has an idea in them,
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody, right? um because you are a manifestation of the creator, so you are
Mm-hmm.
a creator, right? And
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
if you tell yourself, well, I'm not creative, no, 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 you're not practiced, but you are a creator,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's so
right?
good.
um and so everybody has ideas, and it doesn't mean that you actually have to do it yourself. Find a partner, find other people who
Mm-hmm.
will help you.
Mhm.
Give the idea away. If you ain't going to do anything with it and the earth needs it, I tell my clients all the time, I go, do you know that idea that you have, that thing that you're scared to do because you don't believe that the earth is full of abundance? Somebody is praying to God and asking for that solution. They're wondering why, and you're the one that's holding it up.
Hmm.
Wow.
And if you
Wow.
can live with that, keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Keep doing what you're doing.
Take note. Take note.
As my grandmother would say, a word to the wise is sufficient. The wise hear and then they run. Um, no, but I really do believe that. I think there are things. I had a coach once told me. He said, because I didn't really want to, I didn't want to do coaching. I didn't want to do public speaking and that kind of thing. And he goes, you're just really selfish, and you need to go home
Oh,
and look in the
wow.
mirror, and you need to go home and look at the mirror and tell yourself the story you're telling yourself.
Wow, wow, wow.
I was like, well, that was a smack in the face,
Mm-hmm.
but they were right.
Wow, 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 wow. When you get and I had to stop the other day too, like when you have an understanding and an investment, part of the blessing of having that thing is to give it out to somewhere else and not to hoard it.
Yes.
That's
Hoarding
that's so
is
true.
a mindset of the enemy. It's Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Satan.
I actually believe many of us are depressed, even sick, physically sick, because what's in us isn't coming out. And again, going back to energy, it's just stagnated energy. It's
Yes.
jammed up. And it's your
Yes.
spirit saying, I ain't going with you on this crazy
Oh
journey.
my. Oh my.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's really good.
A stopped up spirit.
Right. And so, you listen to me, and I don't mean this word, I don't mean it in this because I'm not trying to do a pun, but you're dammed up.
Mm.
And that stagnant energy is what's causing your depression and your sickness and your lack of motivation and your lack of passion for something.
Wow. And I guess that comes back to living from your heart also.
That's
You don't
right.
trust your heart.
Living from your heart. Yeah. I love what Paulie B always says. You always trying to hear from God, but you need to hear from the God that's in you. Your thoughts are God.
They
Mm,
are.
yeah, that's right. Mm.
They are indeed.
Hmm. That is a dramatic pause.
You
We can
ladies are
think on
quiet
that.
today.
Oh,
We're
because
thinking.
we did, because sometimes you pause and then you say something. So I think we're just ensuring that you got your thoughts out.
That's awesome. No, that makes sense.
Awesome, awesome.
Selah. What is that? How's it? Selah.
Layla, think about that.
Think deeply.
That's good. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Did you want to ask another question, Tanya?
Okay. How about this one? Let's throw this one at you. What advice would you give someone wanting to partner with someone to start a business?
Here's the thing. Now, this is going to be really controversial, but not like anything I say isn't controversial. Um, so I think the very first thing is that people ask themselves, I need to find someone that I can trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. But I think the framework in which we look for trust, I think is often there's a flaw in it. I look for people who to partner with that we have the same agenda. Because if our agendas are aligned, I can trust you. Because trust is relative to me knowing what you really want out of your life and what you want next. Does that make sense?
That does. That does. Yeah.
The idea of trusting the person because they're my friend and I know them for 10 years. See, no, 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 no. You know them in a different context. And that's not going to turn out very well, most likely. And so then the second thing is I want to find someone that actually wants this as bad as I want it. And I want to know why they want it, because I won't know that they really want it as bad. Words are one, the words and the energy is one thing, but I gotta you gotta say something to me that rings in my spirit that says they want this the same as much as I want it. So I wouldn't want to talk about that and get their why, because why is everything to me. Why is everything. Number 3 is that I think that you gotta we really shouldn't be doing things on handshakes. I want the relationship, as Zane always says, that relationships need agreement.
Right.
And so we need to define my role and define your role. And we need to have regular check-ins to say whether or not I'm performing on my role and you're performing on yours, or if we need to make changes to what our roles are in this. And a lot of times people get with people and partner with people because that person can help finance or bring more money to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I have learned in business, there is smart money and then there's dumb money.
Mm.
Oh, I'd like to know the difference.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
dumb money is somebody who actually has money, but they're going to be calling you every 5 minutes and worrying about what happened with their money. And we don't want to do this. And they got that lack of abundance mindset. And I don't know if we should do this. And you know what? And have you thought about this? And we got to hold back on this. No, 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 no. I need smart money. I actually need to know that you actually have some beyond money. You know some people and you have some relationships that can make your money, if I'm not bringing a lot to the table, to make your money and my time, which is worth more than your money, by the way, my time and your money actually work. So I need to know what you bring intellectually to the table, what you bring in terms of access to people, network, because that's what will make your money and my time work.
Mm.
Your money alone could be a headache.
Mm.
And I hear people all the time go, my investor's this, and they spend more time letting their investor set the vision and the direction for the idea that they had. And I'm not saying you don't take advice,
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
but what you end up having then is dumb money.
Hmm.
The good thing about all of that last issue is this: we're in a time where most things that you want to create in and right now, and at least I can say this for the US, most things, because of technology, the barrier to entry is a lot lower and it's
Mhm.
easier to create a business, right? Because of technology and social media that actually can grow exponentially when you're very clear about what you're
Mhm.
creating.
Yes, that makes sense.
So you don't have to
Definitely.
spend it, you don't need as much money to do it.
Right.
And I'm, you know what, you just said something because you said earlier about the pause, and it's something I just thought I think it's important for the audience is if God told you about the idea, then the money and the way to do it does exist.
That's good.
Wow. Yeah.
It does exist. That's when you said earlier, you have to figure it out. And you gave that scripture last time. You said, I have no problem searching things out
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what it is that needs to take place here. Because even though we are Elohim, we still have to go through a learning process. And maybe
King
some of that is not wanting to learn.
Kings search out a matter, right?
I think we lost Brother
Did we?
Telvin.
I'm waiting. I'm like, hey, where'd he go?
He has gone. He is not here anymore. I was like, because that's too long of a pause for Brother
Yeah.
Telvin. Well, so hopefully he gets back in soon. But there's a couple things that he said so far that I'm like, oh my goodness. When he's talking about how money is energy, I thought
Yes.
that was really good. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
result of expending energy. And so sometimes we are in that place where we're sitting around waiting on God, and God has already said, I have given you the ability and the power to generate from your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how we spirit. And spirit is intelligence. So if we function from the logic and intelligence of God, because there's ways that we can function in business to make money, but it's not a way that is right.
That
It
is so true.
seems right, and it leads us down paths that we don't want to go down. But when we begin to function from the logic and the principles, which I love how last time he said that business principles line up with self-existent principles. Like oftentimes they're one and the same. And we even think about how, we've had conversations between the two of us where we have said that even when you're talking about covenant and agreement, it's closer to how a business is set up.
That is so true.
Then,
Yes.
so there are principles in business, and there's principles that come into covenant, then it comes into logic. And sometimes because of that, our Western theology and our understanding of an Eastern mindset, as he was saying earlier, we're sitting in lack because of lack of understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that I did like what Telvin was speaking about, if God gives you that vision, the money is there, right? It reminds me
Mhm.
of Elijah. I believe it was Elijah when there was a famine coming, and God said to go to a certain place where there's going to be water, and one of the ravens would bring food. Right? It's already supplied.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
already in the vision that God has already said to you. So if you go to that place, it will be supplied to you. You just got to go, not thinking that, oh, how am I going to, how am I going to get this, God? Where's the money going to come from? No, just do what the vision's in your heart, go there, and the supply will be met as you go, right?
Does the breath not include all things?
All things.
The breath includes all things. There is nothing that is lacking within the breath. And the breath has the intelligence that allows you, when you function from the intelligence, you begin to function in all things. And that's when you begin to also generate from your wealth. Another thing he said is, I don't think I wrote the whole sentence, so I might misquote, but he said, to the degree that you serve is also the degree of what you'll find in your bank account.
Right.
That hit me. I was like, ooh, that is so
That
good. I want to think about that one some more. That was so good.
it's almost like what I'm getting is like a wedding ring. You give out, it goes in a circle, it comes back. You give out, it comes back. Right?
Never ending.
Never lacking.
And he also said, wrong thinking about money is wrong think leads to wrong thinking, means wrong thinking about God, and wrong thinking about the world that you live in,
Mm.
which I think perfectly sums up when I had asked the question, why do people have a poverty mindset? And even at the International Institute of Pneumatology, one of the things, it's always a mouthful to say, um, ZKI, one of the things that we really have discovered is how this wrong thinking that we have in our beliefs and in society is really causing death and
Oh,
poverty.
definitely.
Yeah, and poverty mindset is the fruit of death. It's a component of death. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I think that renewing your mind here, we can limit it to reading the Bible, but I think even attaching yourself to knowledge that someone like Telvin has, and getting the
You're right.
understanding, the wisdom that he has, is part of that process of renewing your mind. When you have someone that has that information, definitely going to them and seeking them out to get that information is extremely important. I spend a lot of time in my days listening to like different teaching that we have here at the school,
Right,
so that
right.
I'm able to apply and know when I am walking in light, and being able to recognize that, because that's wisdom in itself. When you're able to
Mm-hmm.
recognize darkness and light, that is when you know that renewing your mind has taken place. So that's
Right,
awesome. That's so good.
definitely.
I hope we get him back. We have
I do, because I want to hear.
more time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, was there anything else that you had gotten from that?
Um, so far, yeah, that's so far where he left off is like I'm just craving more. So
Some of the comments that were
where he left
left
off is like craving more. So
Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to
Some of
click
the
on the comments and
It's
hear
an
myself.
echo.
It's because I was going to read some of the comments and I clicked on Facebook and it started. Donald Davis says the parable of the talents was a good example of what he was saying to Telvin. Oh no, that was Paul Brown. I'm so sorry.
Oh, hi, Paul.
Hello. And then Davis had said, "Do not lack an understanding, as well as give an idea, and you will receive an idea." The
I
things I
like
can,
that one.
given it shall be given unto you.
Yes.
Law of sowing and reaping.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I do see that he's trying to come back into the studio and is connecting. So let's see if he is here.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was gone. I was just
You
going at it,
didn't?
you know?
We were like,
No.
that was an exceptionally long pause for Brother Telvin. So he'll be
That
back.
was
That was too much of a
Where did
thought
I leave?
process.
Where did I leave off?
That's
Where did I leave
great.
off?
That's a great question. We started talking about the things you had already said. So the very last thing that I have written down was wrong thinking about God and wrong thinking about money. That's the last note I had written down, but that's not the last thing you said.
Oh, okay.
I think you were talking about how there's a way to get everything you need or something like that, because I had
Yes.
written the note like breath.
Yeah, here's maybe where I'll leave it at this is that there are two things, right? Two scriptures that I always think about: seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's number one, right?
right.
Number two, he has given you all things that pertain to life and godliness.
Yes.
Okay, so that means, and if he needs it on the earth because he wants the earth to he wants the earth to continue to perfect, right? I mean, the earth is groaning for the manifestations of the sons of God, right?
Indeed.
That's true.
And so it wants to return back to order.
Yes.
So a lot of these things that we're doing, a lot of these ideas helping people, right? They actually they're bringing back order. And so why wouldn't he supply it?
Yes.
And my belief, it's already been supplied.
It's good thinking right there.
And so I need to go find it. And not sit waiting for it to find me.
Exactly. Yes.
If I need a job, the job's not going to come knocking on my door. Boom, 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 I'm job.
No. No, I can't see that. I can't see that at all.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's it. I'm still here. I'm pausing because I'm done.
Okay. I can't remember whose question was that.
That was, I think mine was the last question.
Okay,
but you go ahead. Do you have another one?
Oh, indeed I do. What are some steps to starting a self-existent business?
Number one, and it goes back to something I said earlier. Ask yourself, what problem can you solve?
Mm-hmm.
And number one, do you really want to be the one to solve it?
Ooh. So good.
Why is the second part so important? Do you want to be the one?
Because we need to work on things that give you energy and they don't drain you. Right. And so, by the way, what in business, there's a guy, his name is Marcus Buckingham, and he has this assessment, and it's called Standout.
Mhm.
and you can do this assessment to find out basically what actually feeds you, what gives you energy,
Mhm.
and then what things actually drain you. When I work with clients, I always say, tell me the three things I need to know. I have three categories I need to know. I need to know what you love doing, what you tolerate doing, and what you hate doing. And what you hate doing, we need to decide if that's necessary to fulfill your mission. And if it is, then we need to find other people to do it.
I
That's
totally
And if
so
we
agree.
can't
good.
find other people, to do it, then you shouldn't be doing this.
Oh
I
no.
like that. Huh.
That's
Because
good.
you're gonna fail or you're gonna die. You're gonna die doing it. I mean, really.
Funny.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be doing something that you're not gonna extract your energy to doing it. Getting up every
No.
day and saying, "Oh, this sucks."
Live from your heart. Live from your heart.
Yeah, you gotta live from your heart. And and it's that's a very real thing. And we're no longer, listen, there you might have to do that for a time, right? I remember when I was in let me see, was I in college? I had a job where you had to call, it was a company, it was called Little Oil, OIL.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
Okay.
I had to call people on the phone and ask them, could they get a free evaluation or cleaning of their furnace so that we could sell them oil. That had to be the worst job on on the earth. It really was. It was horrible because they actually didn't even buy like phone lists. We would just go through the phone book.
Oh
They would give
yeah.
you pages out the phone book, and you would have to call people. It was so bad.
So you were
And
harassing
people,
folks.
oh yes, and they used to treat us like dirt, well, and they should have, because there was no reason for us to call these people, right? I mean, it was so bad. But I did it until I could get something else because I needed money,
Yeah.
and so I think there's a time, but you should not build a future around something that you absolutely have to do
Mm.
like that, because and there's proof of these stories now. There are so many people, I guarantee you, that have had their situation where they started from worse than yours and made something amazing out of it. So there
So
isn't
true.
an issue, right? So
Mhm.
there is just not an issue. Oh, well, I don't have this or other people have this and I can't do it. That's just not real anymore. The
Mm.
the the technology is the great equalizer.
That's good. Awesome.
So that's the very first step is to be clear about who can you serve. What problem? I mean,
Yeah.
what problem are you going to solve?
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We might have one more.
I think one more. Yeah.
Do you want to ask or you want me to ask?
Oh, I was waiting for you to ask. 'Cause you've
Oh,
got
because we
some.
wanted to know about you share like go ahead and tell people about like programs you offer. Like do you have things you offer for people outside of corporate or is it all just corporate? Your programs?
Anymore, I don't do anything outside of corporate anymore.
Oh, okay.
I really don't have the time.
Okay, okay.
Um, Unfortunately, I am thinking about how I can create a course that doesn't
Okay.
require as much time
Mhm.
of my time. Um, but it's not cooked right now, so I wouldn't want anybody to be a guinea pig on
I'm willing to be a guinea pig on it.
it.
I volunteer as tribute.
You can be my beta. You guys will be my beta,
I will
my
do
beta
that.
test.
I will do the beta test. I will suffer for the service. Um,
Take one for the team.
exactly. For the benefit of the world, I will be tribute. Yeah. So, well, can you once again tell us how people can follow you and maybe if they have
Yeah,
questions? Are you open to
definitely.
questions if people have them?
I'm
I don't
actually
want
open
to.
to questions, and no,
Okay.
no, no, I'm open to questions. And by the way, I actually do like, I there are people. Seriously, I do like a pro bono coaching conversation. I do that for people
Okay.
because
Okay.
I give back, because like there's so many people who sewed into my life and like
Right.
just gave to me and like spent time and really challenged me, and really help me move towards the life that I have. So I definitely do
Mm-hmm.
that. um the best way to get to me is through Facebook. It's just Telvin Jeffries, at Facebook. And then you can find me, the same Telvin Jeffries, at through Twitter. And I always check my DMs there. And then on Instagram, I am, living Texas 21. That's living Livin Texas 21. Um,
I'm
Also
gonna
on
go follow
Instagram, and
you.
I check my DMs there. Yeah.
I'm gonna go follow
So
you, Brother Telvin.
awesome.
Okay.
And I actually have somebody working on a new telvinjeffries.com website, and that'll be up soon.
Oh, cool. Cool, cool,
Okay.
cool. And is that going to be more leaning toward corporate or what is this?
No, it's not going to be. It's actually going to be, more. Yeah, I'm working on a book,
Okay.
and
Ooh.
Okay.
so it's more about the things that we talked about today. I mean, just
Oh,
like,
how cool.
yeah, like how do you? There are two things, right? There's the very first problem is, how do you get to where you want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the very first question. But then
Mm-hmm.
once you get there, like, what do you do then?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Because
I
we're
got to read the
all
book.
That
Yeah,
is that.
right. Because we're always focused. Like everybody's like focused on like, when I get there, like I got to get
Yeah.
there. I got to get there. But then what do you do when you get there?
Do
Hmm.
you what? Yeah. What do you do? Like, do you just, yay, I made it, something new, or what?
So you have to read the book.
Oh, I'm gonna read the book. Oh, I'm gonna read the book. So we
Yeah.
have about 1 minute left. Do you want to pray us out before we go?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Great.
definitely. Father, first of all, thank you for these ladies. Thank you for the service that they're giving to do this show. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, to pull this together, and I just thank you for them and what they're doing. I pray that you would multiply their investment to them, in immeasurable ways. I thank you, Lord God, for all of the people who are listening to this and will listen. I thank you for the ideas. I thank you for really their journey and learning and understanding themselves and to know you better. Really, the
Mm.
fullness of you and the fullness of yourself in them.
Mm.
And then, last but not least, I pray for resources that would come their way. And it's not always money, Lord, but also in just people to actually help them take their dream, their vision, and their ideas to the next level. People who they can trust, people who will support them, people who are authentic and real and will do them good, and that you would grant them discernment and wisdom to know who to bring close and who to actually not invite to their table. In the name of Jesus,
In
I
the
pray,
name of
amen.
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 Thank you so much for being here, Brother
Thank
Telvin.
you. Yes.
You're
And we
welcome. You're
and we want to
welcome.
thank all of you for listening to the Reboot Your Biblical Perspective radio show with Tanya Woodkey and Courtney King. You can learn more about living in the name and business in the name by joining our Facebook group, The Anointed Life Mindset Mentors, or visiting International Institute of Pneumatology.com. Blessings and much love.
Bye, everybody.